Introduce our honored guest, Professor Sara Bronin. She both typifies and exemplifies the UT School of Architecture student and graduate. Typifies in that she brought the spirit, the passion, the talent, the dedication, the curiosity, and the intelligence that we see and marvel at every day in all of our students. Exemplifies in that she took on every opportunity here and beyond to expand her knowledge, to broaden her connections, to test what she learned here as a student in ever more complex arenas and territories. Her background, her story, her accomplishments, and her contributions are nothing less than extraordinary. As a Phi Beta Kappa award-winning dual major in Plan 2 in architecture who minored in Spanish, she had already pushed well beyond the bounds of a normative undergraduate path when she graduated from UT in 2001. She was then selected as one of our country's very, very few Rhodes Scholars to study at Oxford, where she received a Master of Science in Economic and Social History in 2003. And from there on to Yale Law School as a Harry S. Truman Scholarship recipient, and where she served as editor of the Yale Law Review while also clerking for then Judge Sonia Sotomayor, graduating with her Juris Doctorate in 2006. Today, she's an architect, attorney, professor, and policymaker whose interdisciplinary work focuses on how law and policy can foster more equitable, sustainable, well-designed, and connected places. As a professor jointly appointed at Cornell University's College of Architecture, Art, and Planning, and at Cornell Law School, she collaborates with researchers and students across disciplines to conduct cutting-edge research on property, land use, and historic preservation. Through the Legal Constructs Lab, she has led the launch of a national zoning atlas, which seeks to translate and digitize upwards of 30,000 zoning codes across the country. The project was rooted in her advocacy in Connecticut, where she developed a zoning atlas to justify the first statewide zoning reforms in over 30 years. In other public service roles, she has served on the board of Latinos and Heritage Conservation and is advisor for the National Trust for Historic Preservation and the Sustainable Development Code. The local level, she chaired the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Hartford, Connecticut, spearheading an award-winning zoning code overhaul. She is an elected member of the American Law Institute, a fellow of the Cornell Atkinson Center for Sustainability, and a past chair of the state and local government section of the American Association of Law Schools. Most recently, Professor Bronin was nominated by President Biden to chair the U.S. Advisory Council on Historic Preservation. Her work there will be aimed at ensuring agencies consider their impact on historic properties, as well as advising the President and Congress on historic preservation policy. When we say what starts here changes the world, Sara Bronin is the embodiment of that phrase. Her dedicated work in city, state, and now national government has brought her brilliant reasoning to bear at so many scales. Her reach from policy to preservation to sustainability and to equity has taught all of us that true stewardship and leadership must reach across multiple domains and connect many voices. Please join me in welcoming our most amazing commencement speaker ever, our 2022 commencement speaker and absolutely amazing alumna, Sara Bronin.
Dean Addington, thank you for that kind and possibly exaggerated introduction, and for inviting me to join you to celebrate the class of 2022. First, congratulations to the graduates who have worked so hard to earn your degrees today. You've not only gone through the rigors of studios and all-nighters, but you've done it during a pandemic. You've done it together. You've proven that you can overcome anything. Second, I wanted to echo Dean Addington's gratitude to the graduates' families, children, friends, and extended support networks who are joining us today, and also to those who could not be here. Your support has been essential to their journey, and because of you, they now have the tools to build a better world. I am so honored to be here, 21 years to the week, that I was sitting in your shoes. At my ceremony, my 4 grandparents, who had known each other for 60 years, my grandfathers were fishing buddies in Brownsville, had driven up to celebrate the occasion. My parents, my sisters, including Kathleen, a fellow Longhorn who's also in the audience today, were there. To my surprise, when it came around to student awards, I was on the list. As then Dean Speck walked to the podium, I felt a sense of pride. I thought he might talk about my service to the school or to the university, or maybe mention my good grades. He got out his notes, put on his glasses, and said, I kid you not, this award goes to Sara Galvan, the biggest pain in the ass to ever graduate from the School of Architecture. I verified this with all the attendees, by the way. I turned around and looked at my parents. With a thumbs up, they said, yep, he got that right. After 5 years here, Dean Speck knew me just as well as my parents did. I tell this story to underscore a fundamental truth about your time at the University of Texas School of Architecture. And that is that this school knows you and your individual talents and appreciates them more deeply than you know now. It has been a mutual investment of time, culminating, I hope, in sufficient trust to enable deep intellectual growth. With that trust, this faculty has been able to shape your ambitions as professionals and as people. You were transformed here. This is where you learn to think differently, to care about the quality of place, and to be a creative problem solver. This is where you learned how to weave ideas from many different disciplines, from history, art, materials, environmental science, behavioral science, into your thinking. Whatever you did before you entered Goldsmith Hall, this became your intellectual birthplace. Today is the day to reflect on your tenure at UT. What did you get from this place? What will you take away? What in 21 years. In preparation for this talk, I went through my voluminous paper and electronic files that include every written and visual assignment that I had in 5 years, including the written critiques, both good and bad. So as you think about your time, I'll tell you what I got from this school. Between Richard Cleary and Michael Garrison, I connected the dots between formal 18th century landscapes and modern sustainability practices. From Gerlinda Lighting, I learned the power of a strong female lead. From Owen Kappelman, an appreciation of the colors that brighten our world. From Juan Moreau and Vince Snyder, I received mercy, given my hopelessness in structural theory. From Danilo Udovicki, an interest in Russian architecture that led to a paper on the Melnikov House in a summer in St. Petersburg. From Nicole Wiedemann, who led our trip to Santa Chiara, an appreciation for food, for travel, for Italy, and for conversation. From Larry Dahl, the earth-shaking revelation that perhaps Billy Joel was not as great as I had spent a lifetime thinking he was. From David Heyman, the freedom to show exuberance and joy about the great things and to critique the not-so-great things with a smile. And from Dean Speck, not only the fodder for my opening story, but the framework that shapes my thinking about place today. So much so that Architecture and Society 308, which I know you all had, features in the first chapter of my next book. And from every last one of them, the benefit of their brilliance and the true luxury of their critique. Now, you've been shaped by different moments. by a different suite of classes, by a different cast of professorial characters. After you leave this auditorium, you're going to think of or be influenced by these moments, classes, and people often, perhaps when you least expect. When you have an immediate reaction to a new building, when you go to a new city for the first time, when you're walking down the street, or even when you're at a dinner party. You might be thinking today, this is it. I'm ready to leave this school behind. But I'm here to tell you that you can't. You'll carry it with you for as long as you live. Whether you become planners, architects, landscape architects, interior designers, preservationists, urban designers, or even professors, you benefit from the gift of the most interdisciplinary education that this wonderful university offers. You have everything you need to make change. The degree you're graduating with gives you power, purpose, and agency. The experiences that you've had give you grit and determination. And you're going to need all of that to tackle the challenges of the day. First, climate change. You, sitting right here, can help us design more energy-efficient cities and buildings. You can advocate for trees, for biodiversity, for places that complement, not compete with nature. You can push for better infrastructure and water management. You can help us move beyond the car dependency that's killing us. Second, economic inequality. You can push for equitable cities, cities that are easy to get around, that allow people to connect with educational and job opportunities. You can lead the fight against slavery in construction supply chains. You can push for zoning that promotes more affordable and abundant housing. Third, public health. You can work with neighborhood and national groups to promote walking and biking, which you know reduces obesity. You can design age-friendly communities where people can maintain the social bonds that will help them to live longer. You can push for updates to road design standards that eliminate the scourge of traffic violence. Fourth, preservation and conservation. You can help preservationists tell the full American story even when it's uncomfortable. You can protect indigenous resources from construction-related destruction. You can deploy circular construction techniques and reuse existing fabric, not toss it into landfills. And finally, social justice. You can push zoning and planning practices that reverse segregation that plagues too many communities today. You can lead preservation fellow professionals to tackle bias within the profession itself. You can vote. These issues, climate change, economic inequality, public health, preservation, social justice, are among the many that you are well equipped now to address. These aren't standalone issues with singular solutions. These aren't liberal or conservative issues. Like it or not, they are integral to present and future professional practice. I know that's true because, like you, I was born at this school, and these issues dominate my work. What I found is that the world needs more passionate, effective, knowledgeable leaders at all levels. Critical thinking about what you can do to take up the world's fight will compel you to lead with purpose. So here I am, being a pain in the ass again today. I am challenging you to have a big impact on big issues, to serve on the boards that rewrite the rules of the game, to embed a concern for public good in your practice, to not sit in your office all day and squander what you've been given, to leave this auditorium with an optimism about the future of the world and a belief in your ability to shape it. It's more than an opportunity, it is your obligation. Congratulations on all you have achieved. Go forth and please change this complex and fragile world.